Hey everyone, exciting news. We've officially launched the Paranoid Perspective Patreon. If you love what we do, unpacking conspiracies, chasing mysteries, and laughing through the weirdness, now you can support the show and get more of it.
So, for as little as $5 a month, you will get exclusive access and extra perks to the episode. Sarah, what do we get with Tier 1?
So, Tier 1 is the Curious Minds, and you get a shout out at the end of every episode.
Next tier, this is what you guys really probably want. Ad-free episodes. We don't need those pesky ads that you guys are getting on Spotify, Apple, whatever else. You will get all episodes ad-free along with what else, Sarah?
You'll also get it ahead of time. So before the episode releases for that week, it'll be available for you to watch or listen.
So if you guys are interested, check in the show notes down below, or you can head to patreon.com/the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. Welcome back to the Paranoid Perspective. I'm Jake.
And I'm Sarah.
Sarah, it's the last week of spooky season.
Yep.
It's exciting because Halloween is upon us, but it's also bad because now we got to get to the lame holidays. Not for everybody. I just don't like the upcoming holidays very much. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. It's going to get colder
And it's just going to get dreary and people are going to get mean. You know, it always happens. You get that after Christmas slump and everything. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Today, we are talking about black-eyed kids, and I've got some extra spooky stories pertaining to black-eyed kids.
Okay.
So, Sarah, have you heard of black-eyed kids before?
Yes.
You have?
Very familiar with
Oh,
black-eyed
okay.
kids.
Cool.
I mean, I guess I'm not super familiar. Are they demons or?
I mean, maybe we will unlock the secrets of the black-eyed children at the end of this episode. It's doubtful, but it's always there. The possibility is there for sure. Well, listeners, for those of you that may not know about these little sons of bitches, they're children, or at least something that looks like children. They usually show up at your doorstep at night. They have pale skin. They're wearing like it's not strange clothing, but it's just like bland. It doesn't look like anything in particular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most memorable, hence the name, they don't have any color in their eyes. It is completely blacked the fuck out. Terrifying if I see a fucking child on my doorstep. But then if those bitches look up at me and it's fucking completely blacked out eyes, well, probably gonna shit myself. So
Yeah.
I don't
I would
know.
just slam the door. Just be like, no.
Well, thankfully with today's technology, if you have a Ring doorbell, check that bitch before you fucking do it and be like, show me your eyeballs. But, you know, I don't know. But we're going to go kind of deep into this, and it's kind of interesting, and it's a little out there because I almost thought of this as like just like a creepypasta, like a Slender Man or something like that. But I mean, there's some actual stuff to it. So
really? Okay.
Well, there's some early encounters and some personal testimonies, which are kind of debatable. You know, some of these, Sarah, are absolutely hilarious, and they are definitely not true. But we'll get into it. So let's talk about like the first accounts that we've have kind of talked about black-eyed kids. This is where it came into like the mainstream. People started talking. This was way back in 1996 for all you kids out there.
That's the first.
Well,
in the 1900s. Don't forget.
We'll go further back here in a little bit, but this is like the story that kind of jump started the black-eyed kids thing. So it can be traced back to, like I said, 1996. It's the earliest like well-documented encounter. It comes from a Texas journalist named Brian Bethel. Bethel's story is real simple. He was sitting in his car in Abilene, Texas, outside of a movie theater. Two boys approached his window. They looked like ordinary kids, probably preteen. I think it's like 9 or 12, something like that. Like they were young boys. But there was something just a little off. They had very like almost old-fashioned, but not quite old-fashioned looking clothing. Their speech was really, really strange, almost like it was rehearsed. And they spoke like way too maturely for children. of that age. And they kept saying the same request over and over and over again. We need a ride. We just need to get home. Let us in.
Let us in. That's the added. Ugh, they're like vampires.
Right, dude. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, the first few times it's like, oh shit, we got kids out here. Like, I think any adult would be like, fuck, where are your parents at? Like, let me try to help
Yeah.
you. Like, try to figure out what's happening. At first, Brian actually considered it. Obviously, they're children. At some point in time, though, they usually are kind of like not looking at you while these interactions are happening. At some point in time, they raised their heads up and he saw their eyes. It wasn't like dark, it wasn't just like brown, it was solid black, like no white, no irises, just a fucking void.
Right. Wow.
His body fucking betrayed him and he freaked the fuck out as one would. And he rolled up his window and got the fuck out of there. Just like I think
Yeah.
everybody else would. So
Right.
I don't know that story. I remember hearing about that a long time ago. And it's like, there's key parts of that story where like he was outside of a movie theater and there's like we're here to see a movie and our mom hasn't picked us up yet or something, but it was like hours after the last showing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it like they were lying about it if that story is true. So I don't know. I would freak the fuck out if I was sitting in an empty
Yeah.
parking lot in the middle of the night and some
I
little
mean, did he
motherfuckers came
work
up to me.
there? Why
Well,
was he sitting there?
so supposedly he was paying some bills. He was writing checks. He was a night shift worker, and it was just an easy way for him to sit in a parking lot to do some paperwork real quick and call it good. So
So they just appeared out of nowhere, kind of.
well, sort of, right? Because it's like you got to think like everybody's kind of been out and about after hours and you drive by parking lots and nobody's in the fucking parking lot. So you would think if you parked in a parking lot, you would see somebody coming from the entire parking lot away.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even if you were looking down, it would give you time to see somebody like walking towards you. So
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know. So this is the story that kind of gave the legend its momentum, you know, but they all kind of fit the same bill. And there's a lot that go back much further. There's folklore stories of like these uncanny children with pale skin, piercing or unusual eyes, strange behaviors. They often carry like ominous feelings of like dread and fear. There's Celtic tales of these things that are called changelings. They're like fairies, demonic creatures that mimic children. In Japan, forgive my absolute butchery of this, Nopura Po is a faceless ghost who sometimes appears as a child before terrifying their victims. So like there's like aspects of this story that go way back, not just, 1996. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting.
but the thing is though, once this story kind of got circulated a little bit, it was really not that big of a deal until the 2000s, which obviously with the internet, that's when it started really getting circulated. The internet grew, forums like creepypasta, paranormal boards, Reddit, the typical online chat forums or whatever. They started, amplifying these stories. And by the 2000, black-eyed kids encounters were being talked about worldwide. People claim to
Oh,
have
wow.
met them on lonely roads, parking lots, at their fucking front door. Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah.
No,
What about if it's Halloween? I don't think there's been, well, you wouldn't let children in though, still,
that's what I'm
because they
saying.
always want to get in.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and there's some themes with all of these stories. Like you just said, they always are being requested to be let in, kind of like that vampiric sort of like it can't pass the threshold unless given permission. There's always this unnatural sense of dread. Like, when you're like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you're just like, fuck, I'm in a bad spot, even though you can't explain it.
Mhm.
That's what's happening. And then of course the iconic black eyes. So
Yeah.
those are kind of the themes. So I've got a couple of pretty spooky stories. So
Let's do it.
this is titled The Midnight Caller. Now, I want to take all of these with a grain of salt because these are stories that are off of some of these forums. Now, they could be fabricated, they could be real, they could be anything in between. I'm just giving that disclaimer right now. So, this is about a young lady. She woke up and her dog Lucy was barking. The dog was like upright on the bed and like staring at the door. You know how dogs get when they're just like locked
Mm,
in? You know what I mean?
yeah.
It was like there was an unknown stranger like outside. Like that's the kind of scene. Like cuz I know I've had plenty of dogs and they get that sense in them to protect you, their owner, and
Mhm.
they completely like get away from that domesticated breed and all of a sudden now
Yeah.
they're fucking, you know, even if it's Chihuahua, I'm going to fuck you up. That's their mentality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, the puppy, it was a puppy and they'd only had it for 3 months. So they were thinking like she was thinking like, "Oh, it's probably just spooked. It's probably heard something outside, whatever." Like, you know what I mean? Just anything. It could have been the house settling that freaked it out, whatever it may be. So she decided it'd be best to take the dog and open up the door and just be like, "Hey, let's go outside, show that there's nothing out there. It'll calm the fuck down. No big deal." You know what I mean? Um, so she got to the front door. And when she was walking towards the front door and started to reach for the handle, the dog went from like being on guard to like aggressive growling.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I'm going to
I would
fuck
not
you up.
open that door.
That's what I'm saying. Listen to your fucking animals, people.
My god.
Jesus Christ. And granted, the lady that's in question here, she was groggy. She had just woken up. Like, she
Hmm.
wasn't like, whatever.
Yeah.
But the second her hand got on the door handle and on the deadbolt, the dog acted like it had been defeated and started whimpering, like it was preparing for whatever was about to
Oh my god.
happen, like
Yeah.
accepted its fucking fate. It was so weird. The mannerisms changed, and at the same time, the individuals did, the ladies, her heart started racing. A sinking feeling at the same time of dread and fear overwhelmed her. It was like flooding her entire system just out of nowhere. You wake up from like a sleep and you're fine. And the second you reach for the door handle, it's just like, "Oh, shit, what the, like you get
Yeah.
that feeling." So before she opened the door, though, having this feeling, she did look through her peephole.
Oh,
There
I
were
was
two
gonna ask.
kids. Yeah, there were two kids standing outside. One was just a smidge shorter than me and didn't look much younger. Post here says that I'm 21. The oldest looked to be maybe about 16 or 17. She was slender and pale. Her hair was a light shade of honey yellow. She had bangs in the front and it covered most of her eyes. She also wore jeans and a thin olive colored pullover style hoodie. So, once again, kind of like a bland, not really descriptive sort of thing.
Yeah.
She also held the hand of another girl who looked to be about 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. So 3 there,
Right.
I guess, yeah.
Like a toddler.
Yeah.
And she
Wow.
was dressed in nearly the identical garb, just smaller.
That's kinda cute, but
I know, right?
it's
Until,
crazy. It's the exact same. Where are they? They just have, like, a uniform for, like, our kids.
maybe. I don't
We
know.
go to the store so we can all look the same.
Well,
Maybe they're just in a cult.
it could be. It could be just some crazy cult people that Sarah almost joined, when she
Yeah.
was in Korea or
Yeah,
Japan.
go listen. Yeah, Japan.
So, but it was really strange because she noticed there was a stuffed toy under the arm of the toddler, and it was identical to a toy that her daughter, person writing this, had. Like identical toy. So I don't know. That's one of those things where I feel like this is just a little bit overzealous, but
Right.
that's
Yeah,
just
and
me.
I mean, there's lots of toys sold that are the
Right.
same.
Right. Right. She at this point has not made a sound. She is just looking through the peephole. She hasn't turned on any lights. She hasn't done anything like that. She has this overwhelming fear going through her body, but she still has this like mentality of like, there's fucking kids outside. I need to see what's going on. Before she was able to move or do anything, the older one spoke. She had a mature, confident, strong, and accentless voice. She said, "We have to use your phone."
No. No thanks.
The first thing she thought was, how did she know I was here? There's no
Hmm.
way. I haven't moved. I haven't turned any lights on. And she just says, I have to use your phone. And at the
Yeah.
same time, she's looking through the peephole when she says, "We have to use your phone." She raises her head directly at the peephole. So
I think they're vampires.
I'm
They can
telling you,
hear her heartbeat or something,
right.
smell her
So,
blood.
yeah, this was also followed by "Our mother is worried." So trying to pull at the heartstrings, you know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, ran back to her room, covered up the window, locked the door that was to on my room, and sat there with a dim light. I heard her call me back to the door once more, and then it was quiet.
Mm.
So she's
Probably
still
went to the next
outside
house.
trying to, well, that or she's like telling her to come back in.
Right.
Granted to say, she did not sleep at all that night, and she started kind of looking into this a little bit, and without permissions, like having people ask for permission to come in was freaking her the fuck out, as one would do. But it's weird because there's still like a lingering feeling of dread, like in her house at night. Like she can't like
Oh,
shake it. You know what I mean?
yeah. Right.
So I don't know, man. I think that would kind of freak me out quite a lot if I happen to be
Yeah.
half asleep and put my eyeball to the peephole and it's like, "Hey, bitch, let me in. Here's my eyeballs, by the
Right.
way. I look crazy." I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
that would be crazy. And it's like at midnight, right? You said or something like in the middle of the night. Like,
Yeah, middle of the, like dead
yeah.
night. Like we're not talking like
Right.
8 or 9 o'clock. We're talking like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something stupid, you
And
know?
these kids are just out there. Yeah.
Yeah. There is one that was happened on a bus. This one was kind
Bus.
of
Okay.
interesting.
Like not a school bus, a
No, no,
public
no,
bus.
no public
Okay.
bus. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So, this gentleman was riding back home from work. It was about 1 a.m. And he was a security guard, and he often worked like these off shift hours. So we're talking night shifts, and getting off at weird times. So wasn't very uncommon for him to be on the bus at that time. He was sitting there, and this guy gets on and sits across from him. He was wearing a suit, had a briefcase, and he looked like a normal guy in his 20s. The one thing that struck me was he was chewing a cigar, not smoking it. So kind of weird. Like, how many people do you see doing that? Like, I know people used to do that.
Yeah.
So he was looking at him, and all he was doing was just staring out the window and chewing a cigar. All of a sudden, he turned and looked at me. His eyes were completely black.
So not a kid.
I know, right? So this is one that I thought was interesting because now we're looking at somebody that is at the very least a young adult,
Yeah.
right? So in this person's quote, my heart started beating like a mad motherfucker, as one would do.
Yeah. Right.
I was starting
It
to
just,
panic and I had no idea why. This guy was just absolutely terrifying. And all he was doing was grinning at me. His teeth were covered in tobacco and the cigar was clamped between them. I almost screamed, but instead I had the presence of mind to get up and just take the seat right behind the bus driver. First of all, fuck that. I'm getting off. I'm not going to be
what
in a.
if he follows you?
What if you're in a confined goddamn metal shell with a goddamn vampire or
But you're
demon
with
or
the
what?
driver at
What the
least.
fuck is he going to do?
Safety in numbers. I don't know. You
Fuck
just
no.
feel,
He ain't going to do nothing.
I don't know. And it's lit. The bus is lit.
I
If you just
suppose.
get off the dark street alone and then this guy follows you,
I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
know.
I
Just ride
wouldn't
the
be.
bus the whole time
Fuck. I don't know.
before
Get
I get
off
off the
like
bus.
15 stops after yours. You know what I mean? Just to make sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. And grinning, like with the cigar, like, like,
Now, now he did say that he calmed down quite a bit afterwards, but he did keep
oh,
an eye on the guy. That gentleman ended up talking with some girl that had got on later, and when he got off at his stop, they were still talking. He said he later convinced himself that it was like just some dude just trolling him or fucking with him or doing something. Maybe he had like a pair of contacts or something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like those fake things. But it just went from what really freaked him out, I think, was like just the feeling of like overwhelming fear that came over him out of nowhere. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know,
It's
man.
the devil. The devil wears a suit.
Well, that's true. I don't know. There is a few where they did let them into their home.
Okay. And they, I guess, survived, apparently.
Well, allegedly.
Right.
I don't know why you would do that, but mm,
Yeah.
here we are. I'm sorry, I'm great podcasting material right now. I'm trying to find the story. So
Not everyone has survival instincts.
this is very true, and I've noticed it's actually not a lot of people at all have fucking survival instincts. So most people
Or
just
common
like,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Oh god damn
Yeah.
it. Where the fuck are we at? See, here we go. That's what I'm told. That's what I'm talking about. I had everything all nice and prepared and I'm not winging it this time and now look what's happened. I can't find my shit.
That's not your style.
I know. I should have
Doesn't
just,
work for
you
you.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get another one in before I keep looking for this other one. This one's kind of spooky too. So this was in this is March 17th of 2008. Um, this person had their one and thankfully only encounter with a black-eyed kid. Before my experience, I had never heard anything about black-eyed kids or crazy stuff like that. When this happened, this individual was 12. So a um, they were sitting outside of a hairdresser's house in an old Chevy pickup truck waiting for their mom to finish getting her haircut. About 15 minutes had passed and I saw some kid walking back and forth along the sidewalk in front of my parked car. At first, I thought I recognized him as one of my friends from school, so I banged on the front windshield until he looked my way. It was not anyone I knew.
Oh no.
At this point, I was not scared at all. The boy walked over to the side of the car and just stares. I think he, to think, he- I'm sorry, I think to let me get a good look at his eyes, like he's almost taunting him, to freak him out,
Mm,
to try to do,
yeah.
whatever. The pupils, when this kid looked at him, like he was thinking he like saw something weird outside of it. But like, like even some animals that have like really dark eyes, you can still see like a pupil. It was once again just like an inky black all the way through his eyes. The boy comes up to is already up at the window, whispers, "You must let me in."
You must. See, that's a command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I then locked the car doors and ducked down between the space below the seats, as one should and would do.
Yeah.
Whether it was minutes later or however long, I did get the confidence to look back out, and he was gone. When my mother got into the car, I told her that there was a boy with black eyes who had came up outside of the car, and she dismissed it.
Okay. Yeah. That's, I guess moms do that. I don't know.
Well,
Just,
yeah,
stop
well,
your imagination.
yeah, I've been there. So I'm just, it's all good. It ain't no thing.
I don't
So
know.
I don't know either. Like I said, some of these, like I said at the beginning, you got to take a little bit of these with some grain of salt. I did pull these off of some of those message boards. So here we go. All right. So this is about a father. This is supposedly a encounter where he let some black-eyed children into his home. Why
Oh my
you
God.
would do that, I have no
Yeah.
idea. So it was about 8 o'clock. I was sitting back in my recliner watching TV when I heard a knock at the door. I went up to the door, and before I could reach for the door handle, an overwhelming fear and dread consumed me. So
Mm,
once again, another common theme, like they like
yeah.
exude this energy that you just can't shake, right?
Right.
When I gained the courage after a few seconds to open the door, telling myself it was nothing and I just had, some weird, thought that happened. I don't think, dude,
No, you should
listen,
always listen.
listen to your motherfucking intuition. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Anyway, I opened the door to see two young children standing my on my porch. They both had their head down. They were wearing hoodies with their heads down at the ground and their hoods up and jeans and t-shirt or tennis shoes. They asked me if they could use the phone and they had to call their mother. I asked them what they were doing on my porch. They said once again, "We need to call our mother. Let us inside."
They're always wearing hoodies too, I guess to cover their.
Well, they're covering their eyes.
Right. Just
So,
wear sunglasses.
well, it's at night though too. So I mean,
Yeah, I know, but
it's
kids are
not that
weird.
big a
Kids
deal.
could wear sunglasses.
But
So
so
he
when
let him in after that?
no. So
Oh,
he's sitting there trying to talk to them. They start to get really, really angry. Not angry, but more, I guess, agitated would be the best
mhm.
way to say it. Like, and they just keep constantly demanding, "We're lost. We need," or they're giving him something. We're lost. We're scared. We need to call our mom. You need to let us in and let us use your phone. So they have not looked up at this man yet. So they're just still looking at the ground. They're not doing anything. They're just demanding now that you let us in and you let us use your phone.
Right.
Even though every alarm was going off in my head, I reluctantly said, "Yes, you can come in and use my phone." They walked in. One went upstairs. As he was trying to stop him from going upstairs, the other one came up to him and said it was nothing to worry about, that their mother would be there soon. Once again, they have not used the fucking phone yet.
Yeah. And
As he
go
said,
upstairs? Like, what the hell?
as he said that, the other one came back from downstairs. It was only a few minutes, or not even probably, just probably went up and went back down.
Yeah.
The one that was in the living room still with the man looked up at him, seeing all black eyes, and that feeling of dread completely consumed him. The child said, "She's here." And they both walked out of the door and down the street.
That's so what? She's here, and then that's it?
The man had health issues for the rest of his
Oh,
life,
wow.
similar to like very, very like fast acting, like progressive cancer. His wife that was upstairs that did not allegedly interact with them had nosebleeds for over 3 months, like uncontrollable nosebleeds.
Oh, wow. That's really weird. So they just inflict you with sickness.
Well, like, maybe it's just all the negative energy. You
Yeah.
believe in that juju, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they unleashed all of they're like, "Here's my baggage. Thanks for letting me deposit it here. Bye."
Well, but what freaks me out though is like I think once they look at you, like it's one of those like fight or flight mechanisms, and I think
Yeah.
everybody that you see is like they can't move. They're just so overwhelmed with fear that they're just
Mm.
like, "Oh, shit, I fucked up." That's
Right,
the
yeah.
thought process that's happening. You know what I mean? But then for
Yeah.
them to say like, "She's here," like what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
man, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, that's really like, they let her into the house too or something?
Maybe.
The evil spirit or something?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're like they have to conduits for the, like, the actual evil spirit to get to the
Yeah.
people, you know what I mean? I don't know. I've got one more, and this is, "You will not be calling anybody." That is the title of this. So this incident took place, oh, what would that be? Roughly about, yeah, 13 years ago? This individual had just moved to the city with their wife. They were from a small town and they were newlyweds and they were from the Midwest. It doesn't specify where this was at. We moved across the country so we could get to one of the biggest cities in the Southwest. They're, once again, they're not very, very specific on their locations for this.
Yeah.
Being new to like the city, living in a big city, stuff like that, I would habitually answer the door without a second thought. You grow up in small town, whatever, you're probably just used to whatever,
Yeah, you don't
leaving your
lock your
doors
doors.
unlocked, right, you know what I
Right.
mean? But
Yeah.
now move into that bigger cityscape, now you've gotta kind of readjust to how you do things.
Mhm.
So and it says, "After this, I will never answer the door for someone that I do not know is coming."
Good.
Right. I mean, you should be doing that anyway, if we're being honest. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing?
Right.
What are you gonna just like, even if I have a fucking solicitor come to my house, you know what I do? I put my damn foot in front of the door, so just in case that they try to come in, on the off chance, I'm gonna not let them. So
Yeah. I just
I don't know.
pretend I'm not home.
Well, that works
I'm
too.
just like, "Nope, not
Yeah.
even opening the door. You can go somewhere else."
Yeah. So, the first thing that should have tipped me off was the peculiarity of the situation. The fact that someone was knocking at 6 AM in the morning.
Yeah. Who's doing that?
Right.
No
Nobody's
one.
up nobody's up for that early for no reason. The
Yeah, just
second thing,
randomly knocking doors. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, kids are gonna ding dong ditch. It's gonna be from between like the hours of like 10 at midnight. We're not gonna be doing this at 6 in the morning. So, but the second thing that should have dawned on me is this kid had to reach over the tall gate patio to unlock and unlatch it to get to my door. So it was a small child, right? The knock at my door was very startling. My wife and I were getting ready for work. pretty normal routine for most people. You know what I mean? You got to be work at 7 or 8. You know, you're waking up, you're probably, eating a little bit of breakfast, drinking some coffee, not really worried about a whole lot. The moment I opened the door, I was overtaken with an unexplainable sense of fear. This child was, average height, average build. It wasn't like anything out of the ordinary. It looked like a kid, but he did have sunglasses on. I'm happy you said something about having sunglasses,
See?
Sarah.
Yeah. That just
But
makes more sense than the hoodie
right, right.
sometimes.
You know,
Yeah.
it did, but being that 6 a.m., why the fuck was he wearing sunglasses? I'm assuming at this point, some places in, certain time and season, it'll be bright or twilight at 6 a.m. or, but most of the time it's going to be dark.
Yeah.
Um, where was I at? Oh, and he was also eating an apple. He was very polite and asked if he could come in and warm up. I'm assuming since he said warm up that this is winter time, so that makes sense why it
Yeah.
is dark. You know what I mean?
Right.
I said no, closed the door, and slid the security chain in place. A moment later, another knock. I opened the door again, but this time the chain was still on the door, right? Because that's going to
Okay.
stop somebody, no big
Yeah.
deal. Before I could speak again, if he could come and warm up, no, I replied, attempting to close the door. Before I could shut the door, he put his hand out, stopping the door on its hinges. He looked directly in my eyes and, wearing the sunglasses, said, "Can I at least get some ketchup for my apple?"
What the fuck?
I know, right?
What? It's like an alien. It's an
Look,
alien.
if listeners, if you don't enjoy the fine delicacy of a Granny Smith apple with some fucking Heinz ketchup, you don't know what you're missing out on. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Don't
What the
don't try
fuck?
that.
Maybe we should
um,
try it.
I'm good. That sounds absolutely awful. I said, "Get the hell out of here. My wife is calling the police." He takes a moment to let this information sink in. He lowers his glasses, revealing eyes as black as obsidian, and says, "No, you will not be calling anybody." At that moment, I forced the door closed, locked it, called out to my wife, and she is fucking scared shitless at this point for good reason. I ripped the curtains back to look out the window, and he is gone. No trace of him. So within,
Wow.
what, probably less than a minute, 30 seconds,
Yeah.
it's gone.
That's so.
Nowhere to be
Oh my
seen.
god. What? That's wild. I think that's an alien or something. What
Sarah,
the fuck?
Sarah, the ketchup for your apple is what got me good on that story. Okay.
At least give me ketchup for my apple. Like what? Okay, here's a
Uh,
ketchup packet, little child. Get the fuck out
y-
of here. Like
yeah.
what?
No, I'm not even giving you a fucking ketchup pack. Get the fuck out of
No,
here. That's
I
that's
wouldn't
where
be
this
opening
is
the
over.
door.
This is where this is over. So
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god.
I don't know. There's a lot of patterns that happen with these though. Okay. And the patterns kind of vary though, there because like not all the stories that we had all of these. And there are plenty more you guys can find online. I would highly recommend if you guys are interested in the Black Eyed Kids stories, hop on Reddit. You can find a fucking plethora of them. They're great. But there are some consistencies. They often appear at night or at times when it's dark. They don't want you to see. Most of the time they are in pairs. So you'll see an older one with a younger one. Their speech feels like almost sterile, but somehow hypnotic at the same time. There have been instances of technology glitches around them, like phones dying, lights flickering.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. And all witnesses report having an overwhelming fear consume them. And it's often before they even notice anything about their eyes or anything like that.
Right.
So there's a huge psychological impact that happens after supposedly encountering these black-eyed children. Effects of insomnia, paranoia, recurring nightmares, nosebleeds, health issues. Some believe simply hearing about black-eyed kids increases the chances of an encounter. You're welcome, listeners.
Yeah. Let us know if you encounter them.
Yeah, shoot us an email, the paranoid perspective podcast, gmail.com. Let us know if you listen to this. And next thing you
Yeah.
know, one of these motherfuckers knocks on your door. So Sarah, let's kind
Yeah,
of
that's crazy.
get into some fun. Well, let's do the rational theories first. We'll do the rational ones first. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's get irrational the farther we go.
Yeah. So, mass hysteria, an urban legend, internet storytelling. I mean, kind of like what Slender Man was, you know?
Hmm.
It went from just a creepy pasta to all of a sudden, next thing you know, friends are killing their friend in the woods and blame it on
Yeah.
Slender Man. You know what I mean? Which, don't get me wrong, like, I do believe that, like, if you think about something, it will start to manifest in some sort of way. I'm not saying like a
Right.
physical entity, but there will be some sort of manifestation the more you think and do something, in my opinion. So another one is, which might have some pretty decent validity to it, is a possible like almost like a sleep paralysis sort of thing that happens to you,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, because some
Like,
encounters do resemble like a waking dream or like sleepwalking. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah, I could see that for some of them. Like you're hallucinating, yeah, the sounds and stuff.
Well, and it's like the first one with the lady that woke up from a dead sleep to her
Right.
dog barking. You know what I mean? Like that could have been a dream. That could have been where she's like halfway in and halfway out of, not what's the we did this when we did the sleep stuff. What's the it's not REM sleep. What's the other ones? Do you
There's
remember?
deep sleep and light sleep
Light sleep.
and
There you go.
REM.
Okay.
Yeah, light sleep.
Yeah, she's in light sleep right now. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're just, seeing fucking demons with black eyes. It's a good
I
time.
mean, that is possible, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, sleep paralysis is definitely a real thing. People
Yeah.
suffer from sleep paralysis, and it's not anything fake about it. Now, the experiences that you're having are mostly in your mind, I believe. I don't think it's a demon sitting on your chest, but who knows?
Right.
Maybe it is.
Maybe
So,
it is. Yeah. I don't think they've proven one way or the other, I guess.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be hard to prove it one way or the other.
Yes. Right.
And the last one is one that I kind of chalk it up to. A lot of it is pranks. Teenagers dressing
Yeah.
strangely to scare people, you
Yeah,
know?
I was thinking, especially as it got bigger,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, the incident that happened in like 96 with Brian Bethel, I don't
Right.
know. That one, it's kind of weird. I mean, maybe it's because it's the first one that you like hear about. So maybe you try to get all the rational stuff out of there and want to believe it's true, the spooky stories and whatnot. But honestly, especially since the dawn of the internet, like how easy would it be? You can go buy contact lenses. You can get some, plain looking clothes. You can get some makeup to make yourself look pale. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You can easily do that. So, and what better thing to do if, you live in I don't know, a big-ish town and you walk around at night and mess with people. Kids do that all the time. So that would be that would be probably my guess on the more rational side of theories. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
So,
I think that makes sense. Especially, yeah, like if I heard a story like now, it's like, okay, yeah, it was just kids pranking you. Unless like something crazy happens. Like,
well, yeah, but then it's like if something crazy happens, how are you going to prove that something crazy you know what I mean? Like I don't
well,
know.
yeah.
Because
Well, a lot of people have cameras now and stuff.
well, but that's what I was just about to say. With all the Ring cameras and stuff like that, if this is such a prevalent thing, you'd think there would be video footage of it somewhere.
Right. I mean, did you find that it's still happening? Because I think it like kind of peaked.
It did. I was just about
Yeah.
to say that. It peaked in probably what, like the 20s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then I want to say it was like 16, 17. After that, I don't think a whole lot has happened with it.
They're
So,
afraid of the cameras.
or maybe the cameras can't see them because they're vampires. Or is that mirrors?
Yeah. That's
Oh, well.
mirrors,
Yeah,
but
whatever. Tomato, tomato.
cameras are kind of a mirror
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
because they
So,
wouldn't show up in photography either.
well, that's true. So I guess they wouldn't show up in film, even if it was
Yeah.
digital. So maybe they are still afoot. We just can't see them with our Ring doorbell cameras everywhere.
Yeah, right.
So here's the paranormal theories, though. Demons or spirits. That's pretty easy one
Mhm.
to kind of go with. Black-eyed kids are a manifestation of evil. That's why we get the overwhelming sense of fear and dread when we're close to them. They are tied to ancient folklore of like changelings, vampires. It's always noted about that like invitation rule that they have to be let in before anything like that. I mean, if that really is the case, it would be I don't know. I guess once again, without me experiencing a kid knocking on my door with black eyes saying, "Let me in your fucking house," I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna go with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
would need to experience it yourself.
I
Maybe
don't
you
think.
will now that we've talked about it.
I don't think I want to. I mean, if it's a real thing, they can fuck all the way off. I don't want to deal with that. Next one would be extraterrestrials. Some UFO researchers believe that black-eyed kids are linked to like hybrid aliens. The black eyes resemble the grays. These could be failed human-alien hybrids that got off the ship. I don't fucking know. You know what
I
I mean?
guess that we're abandoned. They're like, "Ah,
Probably.
you suck, so just
You
live in
know?
the wilderness.
Yeah, you're
Fend
gonna
for
die out
yourself."
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta get invitation to do anything. Good luck. So.
Right.
No, I mean, I do kind of have some. I feel like that if that was a possibility, that's probably a pretty good one because you hear stories about like the Men in Black, how they wear like makeup and lipstick to try to look more
Yeah.
human. And it's like these have kind of a similar MO. You can tell they're not once you kind of get a good read on them, but just walking down, like if you were walking down the street and saw one, you wouldn't know the difference, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
And
I
that's how
don't
they
know.
disappear so fast.
That's what, yeah. Well, the third one I have is interdimensional beings, and I think that's if they are, that's how they would disappear so fast. They would just slip in and out of our plane of existence, and we wouldn't.
Right.
They could be right next to us, but we won't know. You know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Well, they
but
can't because they need to be invited
that's
in.
true. Yeah. So somebody invited
Unless
them
we're out
into
there.
our plane, and now they have to be invited into our
Right.
home. And then I wonder, once they're in the home, do they have to be invited to do everything else? Like, here's your Heinz dipped apple. You may eat it, or whatever it may
No,
be.
I think it's free reign once they get in.
Yeah, it probably is.
I'm leaning vampire because they could disappear fast too. They're super
That's
speed
true.
or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
true. Now, if they're the vampires, are they like the Twilight vampires where they got like the sparkly skin?
No, because they
No.
have black eyes.
Oh, that's true. So
No, they're like,
they're like the 30 Days a Night vampires.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. What
Those are
other vampires are there?
yeah, you got
And
the
rice vampires.
yeah, there you go.
I don't think they have. I don't know. I don't remember, I guess. If they have black eyes,
I don't
or they
remember.
could have black eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, they could. But we talked about the one story of somebody letting them in. But if you do let them in, all the stories claim some sort of illness follows, some sort of accidents, or possibly even death. Others say simply no one comes back to tell the tale, but that's not true because we have stories of it.
Yeah.
But who's to say if those stories are actually real?
Right.
I did see a couple of stories where they did let them in and they did like kill. I don't have I didn't really believe it. It seemed way too over embellished. Um, the one that I did read about, you know, them saying she's here and then just leaving, I think that is way more terrifying than them just coming in and ripping you up, or
Right.
killing you or doing whatever. The fact that they were so adamant about coming in and then they come in for a minute and then they walk out your front door. Like, what was the
Yeah. It's
point?
like, what did you just do? Yeah.
What'd you do? It's like,
Yeah.
if I was like, what's that one bit? I can't remember the comedian. It's like, man, if I go ever do a B&E, I'm just going to take the batteries out of the remote. I'm not going to take anything. I'm just going to do something to inconvenience you.
Yeah. That's
So,
funny.
but, so I don't know, Sarah, what do you think? Black-eyed kids, they're aliens, vampires, a
I do
modern,
like the demon. Maybe vampire. Maybe they're vampires working for the demon.
oh, they're like familiars then.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just pets.
Yeah, because humans will be the familiars for the vampires, and then the vampires are the
Right.
familiars for the demons. And
Right.
then how high does this hierarchy of
I don't know. Well,
bullshit go?
interdimensional beings would
There
be
you go.
above demons.
Now the demons have. I'm sorry, Sarah. I guess I should have known that. I
You're
didn't know
good.
that there was a hierarchy of that there. I
Right. Bigfoot
I
rules all.
speaking of which, I don't know if you saw this, listeners for the YouTube, you'll like this.
Gosh, that's so funny. He's gonna
Yep.
do a little campfire song.
Yeah, Bigfoot playing Kumbaya. That's it's
Yeah.
my favorite. Sitting on my stuff up here. So So yeah,
That's
Bigfoot
funny.
does
Where did
rule
you
all.
get that?
Jessica got it for me. So I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah, that's
Pretty cool.
funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking it's I think it's internet lore. I think it's the same thing as Slender Man. They're fun, scary stories to read, on Reddit, and they're fun to talk about. But I don't think it's anything more than just people posting on those types of forums.
Yeah. And then pranks maybe from people
Yeah.
reading them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly what I think it is. And in all honesty, if the rumor or the myth of if you talk about them, you're more they're more encouraged to come visit you. I've done a lot of reading on black-eyed kids. I've watched some videos on them, supposedly what they do, where they whatever, I don't know. I've gone in that dumb rabbit hole of YouTube of watching nonsense for way too fucking long.
Yeah. That's your whole algorithm now.
Yeah, yeah. And I have not experienced a black-eyed kid. So,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
maybe, well, you don't dream anymore. I was gonna say maybe you'll see it in your dreams, but you don't
Maybe.
dream.
I
Maybe I'll
don't.
see it in a dream.
Well, maybe you will, Sarah. I don't know. But if they are real, listeners, don't let them in your fucking house. Don't be.
Yeah.
Wait, let's be real about this. What the fuck are we doing? Really? A stranger in 2025? Yep, I'm just going to let a stranger into my house. Nobody's doing that.
All
Nobody's doing
kids
that.
have phones now too, so don't
Yeah,
believe them if they need
everybody.
to call someone. Yeah.
That's what it'll be. I need to charge my phone. That's what it'll be.
Oh, I need to charge my phone. Yeah.
That's what it'll be
They
now.
got the newest iPhone as the
Yeah.
prop. And you're
No,
like,
no,
oh, it's
it'll
dead.
no, they'll have like an iPhone 3. It'll be just enough to be like, I have a phone, but I need the charger. And it's like,
Or
bitch,
like
I
a
have
flip phone, like a jitterbug.
right. Oh, that
Just like,
they're aliens, but they're so behind the curve of human technology that that's what they give all their fucking
all
hybrids
right.
Blackberries to go around.
Perry can't even charge that anymore.
Right. Right.
It will be something like that. Like, I don't even have that charger, man.
Yeah, dude, you're fucked, dude. I can't do nothing for you, you know?
Yeah.
So but
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
don't let them in. Don't let them charge your phone. And if they do show up at your house, supposedly, Apple with some ketchup will set them on the right path. So
Yeah,
have
just throw
some,
it out there.
yeah, just throw an apple and squirt the bottle at them. See what happens. You'll be fine.
Right. And then they'll run off.
Yeah, or they'll disappear into their interdimensional plane. I don't know which is which, but they'll do
Right.
one of those. So I don't know. That's what I got for Black Eyed Kids. So some good spooky stories for the last
Yeah.
day of the or the last episode of the season as far as
Yeah.
Halloween goes. So
That was fun. They are fun to read.
they are fun to read. I think that's the point. That's really the point more than anything.
Yeah. Entertainment. This is for entertainment purposes only.
There is a movie about Black Eyed Kids.
Oh,
I will
really?
try to find it and I'll make sure we have it in the show notes. But there is a movie. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like one of those like B-rated.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck did I just get myself into?
Yeah. Plenty of
So
those.
yeah. But no, I'll try to find that and we can link it in the show notes. But yeah, that's what I got for Black Eyed Kids, Sarah.
Nice. Yeah, that was
So
good. I need to
yeah.
watch that movie.
Yeah. Well, I'll be sure to find it and I'll send it your way. And then we'll send it your way, listeners. So, but that's what we got for spooky season this year. And I'm sure we'll have more spooky stories throughout the year. But I think we're going to make this an annual thing where we try to find we got to outdo ourselves next year. I mean, obviously, first year, little hit or miss on a few of the episodes, mostly on my end, but we'll
And
find
they're all
some.
great. They were all, everyone give them a thumbs up.
Yeah. But no, we'll probably keep that trend going for the spooky season next year.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys hanging out, listening to the show. If you guys want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. Got some perks over there for you to enjoy. Patreon is not your thing. Sharing this podcast with a friend goes so much further than you could even know. Like us on all of our social media. Just type in the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. You'll find us pretty much everywhere. And as always,
remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching. See you next time on The Paranoid Perspective.